Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing a movie that's an independent film, I think.
Very independent.
Which was released in 2018, which is titled The Witch Files.
I keep calling it The Witch... What do I call it?
No, you said The Witch List.
The Witch List or something, yeah. And she keeps saying, remember the X-Files, that sort of thing? Yeah, The Witch Files.
It's handy to call it that. That way you can remember it.
Now, the funny part is, it's listed as being a horror thriller.
And a found footage thing.
I'm not worried about the found footage part. Okay? It's a horror thriller. I think that's pretty close to it. It's got sort of it's not horror. It's got horrific themes in it.
Yeah.
Because someone made a comment or two. I was looking for some user reviews and whatever, and yeah, a lot of people said, yeah, really, really good. And then some people lost the plot, saying, "Oh, wasn't that scary?" It's not a horror movie.
Yeah, it's more of a supernatural horror.
No, it's a horror. It's a supernatural thriller with a bit of a horrific theme in it. So yeah, it's sort of like, don't expect sort of Night of the Living Dead stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And one reviewer said that this was a cross between The Craft and The Chronicles. That's a found footage movie that deals with a bunch of kids who use their powers and goes really bad for them.
Anyway, here we go. Okay, I haven't got a lot to go by with this. I was scraping a bit of information from here, there, IMBD and other places. So, all right, I hope I've got it right. Produced by, there's a few producers here, Kyle Rankin, Paget Brewster, Holly Taylor, and someone by the name of S.C.V. Taylor. Someone is scared of their own first names. I don't know. Directed by Kyle Rankin, written by Kyle Rankin and Larry Blamire. I think Blamire. Yeah. Now, filming location. I might as well throw that one in because I've got nothing else to talk about. Yeah. Bath, Maine, in the good old US of A. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'll touch on the reviews a bit now because there's not much to really talk about. I couldn't find any Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritics and stuff. So, but what I managed to glean through my investigations, a lot of people who saw it liked it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not over the top. It's an independent. It's a streamer. It's not a mainstream film. It's not too bad for what it is.
Yeah, and it's hinted in a number of film festivals I known of.
Okay. How'd it perform?
I think it did not too bad.
Any nominations or
a few
awards?
Nominations,
cool.
A few awards.
Cool.
I guess they kind of got a really good plot on their hands when you think about
this. Look, it's not bad. It's a good... I mean, there's only so many storylines you can do. Yeah, there might be some similarities and stuff, but yeah, it's still... it's a bit like The Craft, but it's not.
It also has
they've got their own little theme going in it and stuff.
There's also a bit of a Breakfast Club thing in it too.
I haven't seen Breakfast Club.
That one deals with a bunch of kids who meet in detention and become close friends. I never watched it, but it became an 80s classic according to a lot of people.
Sort of Outcast or
a bit of mixture
Fringe
of different
Dwellers or something?
Yeah, a bit of mixture of kids popular or sporty or mixed races too,
cool.
Which usually are.
Well, actually, it's good when you got mixed. I mean, I'm not knocking movies, but sometimes you get a bunch of white kids or a bunch of black kids, or pardon the description. I mean, it's good to get I mean, if you were in a location and you got a cosmopolitan feel to your neighbourhood.
Yeah.
It should flow onto the movies as well. Mm-hmm. So you might have a white guy, an Afro-American, a Latino, a Chinese guy.
Yeah.
Fine.
Anyway, the stereotypes in this are pretty much, you have the sporty girl, you have the popular, nasty, mean girl, you have the another girl who's not too bad, but she also has a boyfriend. And you have the nerdy girl whose big ambition in life is hoping to become a journalist and winning a Pulitzer Prize, whatever they call it. And it sounds similar to a character me and Mike are familiar with. What we watched, Chastity Bites, a girl in that one who was also has big ambitions of being a journalist.
It was played by Alison Scagliotti. I like her. She's good value. I think she's dropped off the planet, but I think she's studying and doing producing, directing and
Good
stuff.
for her.
I don't know what she's doing,
Good for
but
her.
whatever she does, I've seen her in.
Yeah,
Girls and Chastity Bites and Warehouse 13 and probably a few other things I'm unaware of.
So let's look at the casting, Mike.
Well, there's a whole list of people, but sometimes on IMDb they go overboard, like the car park attendant and stuff. I just kept it to the main people at the top. Here we go. Holly Taylor plays Claire.
And the good bookish journalist person I mentioned.
Yeah, nice one. Now, Alice Zayolkowski, I think, plays Brooke. Tara Robinson plays MJ. Adrian Rose White plays Greta. And Britt Flusmo plays Jules. He's our fly in the ointment person.
As soon as we'll find out.
Actually, I like it. He's rather good.
I certainly like the hairstyle she sports in this. All black hair with red little, strips in her hair.
Strips.
They look so beautiful.
You got purple ones. That's right.
I don't mind purple. It makes me look cool.
Yeah.
I think purple's my favorite color.
Me too.
So anyway, do you want me to dive into it? Because we don't have too much backstory.
I haven't got a lot of background crap to go on with.
I
don't know what it cost.
Yeah, I can tell you guys this is shot in found footage style, but that's no surprise because this is a found footage
Well, they were
thing.
walking around with video cameras and stuff at different stages, so they actually used that to make it look like they were doing filming each other, but it got, to me, a little bit over the top.
Yeah, it looked too coordinated.
Yeah, I'm going to the toilet, here's a found footage. Oh, come on, give us a break.
Yeah, even people accidentally would often have the camera set when they're doing their business or accidentally shooting at a place that you shouldn't be shooting.
Well, the police lady comes up, it looks like it's found footage. Hello? Mm-hmm. And who's taking the footage?
Good point. And anyway, so the main actors actors didn't meet until the day of they began shooting.
Oh, really?
They were flown in to flown into Miami, which is where the film was shot. Maine, sorry. I don't know. Sorry, I forgot.
Miami?
Sorry.
Where's the beach?
Okay. Did a table reading, hanged out in the hotel room where they all, that night, then began filming the next day. Meaning they kind of bonded. Like, it's what I always liked with actresses and actors, bonding time so they can actually don't have to get into the root of the characters, but get to the root of understanding each other.
Yeah, talk to each other and get comfortable with each other.
That's what I like most. We're a bonding session between actors and see if they can really set off a real friendship.
Yeah, and surprisingly, a slab of beer and a couple of pizzas can work wonders.
Yes, amazing. Well, a bit of bonding and a little
some Jack
soul
Daniels
finding
maybe,
you can get when you're on a production. All right, so I'll go into the story.
Once upon a time.
So it begins where it says at the beginning, it says a police notice saying this footage is protected, blah blah blah, by police, blah blah blah.
Touch of realism there.
They did this with Cloverfield years back.
Oh yeah.
And a number of other found footage movies that.
Didn't Blair Witch Project or something like that?
I don't remember, but I know Blair Witch. That was the setting point for found footage movies. Yeah. After this, Cloverfield, and then a number of movies like Paranormal Activities, the other ones that came after it that were just one-offs. They didn't go on forever like most of them. Other than that, Paranormal Activities went on for quite a bit. I don't know if they're going to continue that, but they probably will. Anyway, so the story begins with Claire, who's doing an interview with a few detainees who are all girls, and she wonders, will they learn anything from being in detention?
Yeah.
Of course, some of them say, no, we just did what we did because we're just, we did it for good.
It seemed like a good idea.
I did it for checkers.
So,
oh, no, it's a joke.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, some of them just feel like they were placed there because of, harsh judgments. Like one of the girls was making out for a boyfriend, and
Well, there was a boyfriend, but maybe it was in the hallway.
yeah, one of the girls, Jules. She's actually a witch, and
But no one knows it at this point in time.
anyway, she gives them a demo of her power in detention. She
Sets off the fire alarm, isn't it?
Yeah, she does. And they all leave detention early. And they're all impressed by this. It's quite...
This girl is good. She should turn professional.
It's quite different in other movies where it takes a little longer before you're absolutely convinced that she's a witch. It usually takes a little bit. But eventually were convinced to her that they wish to learn about magic and hopefully do things with it. So she actually invites them along, and they begin to hang out, and they go later in the midnight. So you guys know, midnight is usually the witching hour. That's a term that witches use.
I know that. Yeah. I think
movies.
most people know the old... We'll meet at midnight. That's the witching hour. Yeah.
So Claire had to sneak out, and of course Claire had to participate in it, because if you're not part of it, you are,
You're ostracised by your friends. How's that?
Well, bear in mind, these girls, they're not friends. They have their own cliques. They come from different branches, and therefore they never associated outside of class until now.
However,
anyway, they're told to take a strand of their hair, cut off a bit of hair, and put it inside.
They did a pentagram on the ground, and at each corner of the pentagram, they're supposed to cut off a lock of their hair and bury it or something.
You heard the terms earth, air,
wind, fire, whatever else.
Well,
crap,
there's a fifth element in this called spirit.
Yeah.
This is where Julie was standing, Jules was standing in. This comes as a bit of an interesting part to the story. So anyway, they'll cut off their lock of hair, bury it underneath the pentagram of each of their corner, and they wait outside. For after they close the circle,
and then they do
after they
do
the chant, and they stand it by a lake and wait for whatever's going to come, I guess. And then we hear a bit of a scream, and then they come to the place, and we see the locks of hair have been dug up. They were underground, so you guys know. And, well, they think, what's going to happen now? Have they completed? They still have one more ritual to go, where they go to, I guess it's Brooke's house, I think it is. I think I could be right.
One of them.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And they start chanting something, and then they decide, after they do the chant, they want to know if the spells that they finally got power. So they decide to do something. So they get a book, and they start chanting, book is levitating, book is levitating, book is levitating. That just so you guys know, there's no spells, not complete spells. It's just a matter of chanting the same word over and over.
Mind control. So they change it. That the book will float into the book is floating, and then and
soon enough the book is floating in the air.
Yeah.
Then they decide to do something a little bit fun,
one of the girls,
where they float Claire in the air,
Claire is floating. Claire is floating, and she starts to float,
and just then her Brooke's mum enters with her young boyfriend. See, she's a drunkie, and she and her
mum's a bit of a cougar.
So and now it's dating a young, or not dating, maybe having sex with a younger man.
Her sleepover friend.
Of course. While Claire is in the air at this time, and
Claire is in the air every time.
So you guys know this. They cast a special circle around the place, so that anything that happens outside that little magical barrier, to the rest of the world, they're not doing magic. They're just doing a sort of stay session.
Yeah, just having a chat. Yeah.
Anyway, Claire falls down from the ceiling, and I'm amazed that she didn't break her glasses or even cut herself in the process.
Whatever.
Anyway, she's not badly injured.
So they realise, hey,
they got powers.
We got power now. Yeah.
So they start doing some, harmless stuff. Well, not really harmless. They decide to use their magic for selfish needs by paying for things they want.
Not paying. They went to a cafe or something rather, instead of paying for the food. So the bill is already paid. The bill is already paid. And they walk out the diner with
with no
Without paying.
without paying. And then they decide to do a bit of shopping.
Bookshops and dress shops and camera shops and
they start buying things and telling each of the owners that we already paid. And of course, Claire is begin to wonder if this is the best thing they should do, because they're going to be found out and people will...
Yeah, and they do later on.
Because these spells don't really last long. Like,
well, they do, but it's well, look, okay, we'll sort of jump ahead a little bit. The point is, the girls, when they went shopping, and they got some clothing and different things and whatever, and CCTV showed them walking in the shop, walking up the cash register person saying, blah, 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 we've already paid, and walked through without paying, and the till was out by the amount of those items, or whatever.
Yeah, you do notice them taking the jewellery and stuffing into their bags and all the time,
but they went through, it's already paid for.
Yeah. CCTV
so
will not lie.
Yes, everything was catched on CCTV, especially of the car.
True. Anyway, they also pull a few pranks at school with, especially a nasty teacher. They decide to make him throw up coffee.
Yeah, coffee, like spraying it all over the place. Yeah,
it's amazing they didn't use blood or something like that.
And what a waste of good coffee. Oh, wow.
Then Claire makes a suggestion that maybe we should start planning our wishes,
Yeah.
So they come to back to in the woods again because Brooke knows that she can't really have them over again for reasons. So they head to the woods and they have each one has a list as long as my armpit.
Yeah, I would.
Especially one of the girls who said that she wants her nose, mouth, and whatever done.
Yeah.
Of course, Claire suggests maybe we should try wishing for something a little bit less, like surgery related, because it could be worse for us later on if we kind of do this.
Yeah.
So one girl, Brooke, suggests that she wants her mother to be sober and...
Yeah, her mother had a drinking problem.
And she wants to have the teacher I mentioned, she wants him to be nicer to her.
Hey, was he ever?
And let me see, one girl wants her boyfriend to propose to her because she thinks he's going off to the military. I'm not sure if that's 100% true or not.
Well, whatever.
He says he might be going to the military. You never know. And one of the girls wants to win against a rival. She's playing sports, so she wants to win against them, and she wants to get a new car.
Get a new car, yeah.
And Claire wants her father to be employed, get a job, and her sister Sutter to be gone.
Go away, yeah.
And Jules wants to be crowned flower queen or something.
Yeah, that's
sort of like
interesting.
Prom Queen, only different.
Well, not Prom Queen, but a Flower Queen. It's a festival.
So she wants to be crowned Flower Queen because she thinks that outcasts like her deserve it or something like that.
Yes, somewhat, yeah.
Because it's always crowned by a popular girl, yada yada, the usual stuff. And they think this is a bit of a weird wish, but they decide to shrug the shoulder and say, oh, well, let's just make these wishes come true.
And they do.
Yes. We find out Claire's dad's got 2 job interviews and they went really well.
And they both went well. He has offered 2 jobs.
And his sister Stutter is gone.
That's all, folks.
Yes, that's all good. And let me see. The girl I mentioned who's won in sports, she does really well. She wins. But here's the cliffhanger. She develops arthritis in her leg. Yeah. This is not the only misfortune, as it turns out.
And then they start noticing they're all starting to get problems.
Brooke develops warts on her face, or pimples, I'm not sure.
Well, they look like little pimply things first, but it's starting to develop into warts.
Yeah. She also develops a hearing disorder problem.
Yes, and one of them, who gets an eye problem?
Claire. She notices her eyes. She's got glasses, so you guys know. She goes to the optometrist, and he tells her the glasses are fine, but her eyesight is at
macular degeneration. Yeah. So that's normally an old person's problem, or somebody a lot older.
I think it was MJ, I think it was, she develops, her teeth start falling out.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
after she had a dentist thingy-wing done to them, she's...
So all stuff you attribute to old age. So,
And Jules off-screen says that she got hot flashes, which we don't
like
see.
in menopause.
Which we don't see.
But yeah, we don't see it. But she said she gets them. Yeah.
Anyway, so the girls start questioning and cross-questioning, and at one point, Claire suspects Brooke of probably doing these nasty things to them. So she confronts her and tries to be invisible, but it doesn't work. So they start having a duel against one another.
Yeah.
And eventually we find out from Brooke, Brooke's kind of was sent a note from Claire telling her something nasty. And I should mention that Jules got attacked during a sort of, I guess, a Skype call that she did with Claire, and we think it's from Brooke, but it wasn't Brooke who sent the Skype call. I mean, sent the weird entity, as it turns out.
Oh yeah, there's like a shadow creature, wasn't it? Yeah.
Claire visits her in the hospital, and we find out her parents are. Well, I can't really say because it's not
They're really weird?
They're very weird, strange.
But they're actually
their foster parents.
Yeah,
sorry, I forgot.
but they seem to be scared of her.
Yeah. Anyway, so
makes you wonder, don't it?
Oh yes. Anyway, so Claire, Brooke, and MJ and Greta, they're starting to think that maybe they're in great danger, and then they decide they break into the school during the night and going through. Actually, before I get to that, the detective in charge,
the lady
who finds out about their stolen bits and pieces, they actually go to her and ask her about. She kind of told them that something like this happened
about 17 years ago.
And so anyway, they go to the police department and ask her a few more questions about what happened. She tells them about how a bunch of girls like them, younger teenagers, who started taking things, stuff like that. And then one day, some of them disappeared. Two of them disappeared. About two I'm still missing, we think. I'm not sure. I mean, we do meet one of them, and it turns out she's is a homeless person
who can't
talk
hear. Anymore.
I can't talk. And she tells them that the girl that they knew wanted to be prom queen, and she warns them that not to crown her. I don't know why, but then
the ritual, and their person.
She ends up getting killed, and the girls head inside the school, and with the help of another student, and they start looking for yearbooks for this mysterious other girl. As it turns out, her name was Julie, and Jules. And as it turns out, the girl in their group is named Jules, obviously, and they then work out that in every 17 years, she has taken up a new alias, and she still looks the same.
She disappears, and then 17 years comes back as a new student at the school.
Yeah, every 17 years, she takes on a new style, a new look, and
it changes the name sometimes.
Yeah, and some of the pictures that she took with her few friends, they've been could have been a magic spell that made them blurry or something like that. We don't know. And anyway, they found a yearbook, and they found a few photos of her that kind of get them realizing that she's like 1,000-year-old witch.
Or hundreds of years old, maybe.
Yeah. Who knows how far back? Maybe back to the colonial days. I don't know. Or the
Salem witch trials.
Salem witch trials.
We got no idea.
We do talk about a specific witch they were talking about before all this happened.
And it could have been her.
Yes. Anyway, so they realize that the crowning ceremony that she wishes to do is to sort of seal the deal. Sort of.
Yeah.
So she kind of. Where she offers them magic powers, and in return, they start aging, and she remains beautiful or remains young.
She's getting their youth and their vitality
so
to keep her
this
young.
Is where the spirit comes into it. She is the spirit, entity, part of the to this this 5-point triangle. 5-point star.
Yeah,
And
the
all the
pentagram,
time, she's been taking, some of bits and pieces of them, while all the time they're using their magic powers.
Yeah.
And
I get the feeling they're getting their spells or the wishes granted through her,
Yes.
and that's a trade-off every time you make a wish or use her power.
Yes.
She gets some of your vitality.
Exactly. So she's sort of sucking the life.
Sucking the living life out of them.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes. Soon enough, the dance comes on, I guess. I'm not going to say. And the girls, they even though they still have their magic, and they decide to chant that she will not be crowned, that she won't be crowned, and let someone else get crowned instead, which she does. And she's shocked, and she gets annoyed with her coven, and decides to fight them. And she's got Claire's love interest. I won't know his name. I don't think it's important.
Fredo Frog, yeah.
And they quickly try to get him away. Of course, he's all
But he's under a bit of a spell anyway, so he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the girls fight him as best they could, fight her against best they could. Of course, now that she's not being able to get her what she wants, the crowning thing, she's going to use him as a virgin sacrifice.
Well, I never thought about it. He might not. He might
That's
be a
another thing.
virgin.
What if he's not a virgin?
Well,
He's a handsome guy.
But he might not have. He's a young guy. Not every guy's a party animal, and he's supposed to be 17 or 18 years old. He may have been very unfortunate. Yeah.
Anyway, she disappears with him in a puff of smoke. Some of the graphics in this makes me think of all the ones I used to do years ago, back in when I started working on
using After
my
Effects
web
and stuff,
series.
Yeah.
It was so easy, I could have done it with my sleep.
Yeah, and you did. You slept through the class.
Anyway, so they know where she's going, so they use a sort of witch. They use their powers to be able to fly using a witch stick.
They realised that the reason why witches were said to use brooms, it wasn't because they needed the broom to fly. It was a case of stability. Yeah, just for something like a centre of balance. So they just got a pole and it helped them keep going in a straight line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never thought about that.
Oh, yeah, I should mention one of the girls' other wish was to fly, and she kind of did okay, but then she kind of lost her center of gravity and fell.
Yeah.
Of course, she didn't get hurt or anything.
Well, there you go then.
Anyway, so back to the woods. She's about to sacrifice this poor boy, and then the girls, Claire begins to chant, asking the victims from the
her previous victims to come and help. Yeah.
So
all these dead people's spirits.
The police lady appears. I think she kind of pieced together, just like the girls did, that this same character girl is actually going around doing the sacrifice
every 17 years.
So she kind of pieced together, even though we don't see how she worked it out. Anyway, she tries to shoot at her, but she gets fought back by Jules' magic power.
Exactly.
But then again, the spirits
arrive.
The spirits arrive and start attacking her, or we think she's attacking her. One of the spirits, which is actually the detective's sister from years ago, approaches her, and all the spirits kind of left, like they kind of they move on to the next life.
Our job is done.
Yeah. All that's left is Jules, who's now looking like an old hag. Literally.
Yes, she looks like she's aged.
And she disappears like in a puff of smoke.
Yeah, like, we've burnt her out. We've won, yay.
Yeah. Then, I guess the following day, I'm not sure.
Probably the following day, yeah.
The girls are, I think, a little bit back to normal. I think it doesn't say too much, because at this point, she's got her story, and she's already submitted her video.
And they've got her hearing back, and their eyesight's come good, and the girl had the arthritis is better.
Well, they never say whether or not they got their eyesight or their eyesight.
Yeah, because the girl who had the arthritis had a walking stick before.
Yeah, that's true.
Now she's walking normally.
Yeah.
And they weren't talking. The deaf one can actually hear. The one who was going blind could see.
Yes. So anyway, the girls are I don't know if they still have their magic powers. I don't think
No,
so.
they probably haven't. I think it was all done channeled through the other girl.
Yeah, and the girls head out the front door, and we see in the bushes or somewhere
Well, your POV shot.
A POV shot of a
Someone
person
looking at
playing,
them.
using a video camera and chanting. I can't remember the words exactly. I wasn't really listening, but it's something that.
I'll get you and your little dog too.
So then we fade out. That's it.
Lucky, hey, no.
So that wasn't a bad movie.
No, look, it wasn't a bad movie. A good independent. I mean, and like I said, I love independents because the idea, their approach, it's all fresh. Instead of let's do the same shit in a different way. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's good and refreshing to see a good independent. This comes into that good independent.
Yeah, I kind of like the approach in this one, where the witches using their powers and not realizing the dangers they're getting into.
That's one thing that always gets me. Every time in these sorts of movies, they always use the powers for selfish reasons.
Well,
and you wonder, is that one of the reasons why everything goes wrong? If they were making really, really nice wishes like world peace,
or Claire's deciding to get her dad a job.
No, that's selfish. I mean, world peace and so get rid of all the famine in the world. No, something for the world, not for you or your family. That's selfish. I mean, something global. If they said stop all the wars and stop famine and stop poverty and get rid of all that, would they actually be punished for the good, positive?
Well, I didn't think Claire's helping her sister gave her for lips, but it was a selfish reason.
Yeah, but
unless she was hoping for her to win the Australian Idol competition of singing.
Like, if I won, let's say $500 million in a lottery or something or other, and I gave it all to you.
That's selfish.
That's selfish because you'd get it and nobody else get any value out of it. Okay? Now, if I got the $500 million and spread that for the community for all different charities, that is being unselfish. You see? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if they did something nice for the community or the world, would they have been penalised in a nasty way? Not just this movie, but all the movies where they turns around and bites them on the bum. Yeah, but see, selfish.
That's another thing. The wishes they asked for, like Claire's father being not given the job, would be
get a job.
Would all that be? Would that have never happened?
Well, that may have not been undone because the guys can't offer a job.
That's true. You need a witch to do that.
But the girl, her sister's stutter might come back.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think everything reverted to the way it was, but the father had already been given the job, so maybe his luck was running that day.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And not to mention the guy who, at the end, all the time he kind of saw Claire as just another nobody, but then he started wanting to.
You want to go with her?
He wanted to go out for her, even though she didn't wish for it. It was clear that she liked him.
Yeah, see, normal crap going on now. Yeah.
So she kind of liked him, to an extent.
Anyway.
He was kind of good looking.
Anyway, we're not going to talk too much this because otherwise you get run around circles. Right, what can we say? Okay, look, I said, the reviews. They most of the people were positive about it. Bits and pieces of what I've gleaned here and there. A couple of people thought, it should have been more horrific. No, it wasn't.
Horrific.
It's like a comedy or horror. It's more comedy than horror. And this one should have actually been a thriller horror, not a horror thriller. So I always go by the first word as the main part of
this came off
genre.
This came off more a supernatural fantasy.
Possibly, yeah.
Because there's not very much horror in it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's why some people say, it's a horror movie. It wasn't a horror movie like Night Living Dead and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
no.
Was a lighter version
horrific
of that.
Theme in it, but it was more like...
thriller, not so much, because thriller sounds more like...
suspense, what's going to happen next, that sort of stuff.
Suspenseful, but not as... I mean, you knew from the get-go that Jules was a witch, and the girls were not... Well, that's like... they were not like...
but what were they going to do next?
Yes.
That's a suspense thriller bit, but it had supernatural things. It wasn't totally horror, so maybe the genre was misleading to the people who gave it the negative reviews, because it wasn't very horrific, and it wasn't really. However...
If the witches were kind of going around killing people...
that'd be different.
That would be a different matter.
Now, you look at Charmed.
Yes. Yes.
And movies like that, and shows like they're not horror movies. They're supernatural, fantasy, drama type things. Yeah? And I think this movie falls into that category, even though it's said to be a horror movie. Well, it's not really a horror movie, but it does fall into fantasy, in which we do fantasy anyway. But it's a good movie if you forget the wrong genre listing.
Yeah, I think that's the big problem with this movie. You placed in the wrong genre.
Yeah. So if you put it into a fantasy mystery sort of thing, it sort of shades up pretty damn good. Yeah.
It should have been called a supernatural fantasy or supernatural drama.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. So anyway, we got past that part. Now, what grading it?
Okay, so
you go first, Tom.
Okay, I'm going to grade it as 9 out of 10 is how much I could grade it. So, what do you think, Mike?
I'm trying to think. I can't find anything wrong with it.
Me neither.
It's good. It's pleasant. Actually, I would say the best part is it's believable. It's not too outrageous. I mean, the kids were like kids, like young teenagers.
Yeah, normal
teenagers.
They
were normal teenager things. They weren't terribly outrageous.
Yeah.
They were top like some of these movies make them out to totally
like
deadheads.
Exactly like the legal drinking. I know there was a bit of partying and stuff like that.
Just normal stuff. So they didn't go over the top and make it totally ridiculous.
Or trashy.
The sense of realism was in there. The script wasn't bad. The filming, probably a little bit too much handheld. And Sarah says found footage. It wasn't found footage, but there's too much handheld in it.
Well, it was a found footage movie, Mike. That's what it says in the that this is the girl throughout is holding a video camera. It's shaky, it's wobbly, meaning it's not supposed to be.
I know. But when you have a found footage movie, not every second of the movie should be found footage. Some parts there should be a static camera. And some of it was a little bit overdone, I think, in some of the scenes, like when the police lady came to his house there asking about the car and that sort of stuff. I think that was moved around a bit too much.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Okay?
Well, she was still holding the camera, obviously, if you must have paid attention.
That.
Both girls were holding a camera.
I know, but where do you draw the line at the found footage part? Wouldn't, if I was the police, I'd say, turn your frigging camera off?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? Right? This is what I'm saying. Sometimes they overdo the found footage bit of the cameras.
Well, she did say it was turned off, so she pretended.
Yeah, and the policeman lady would know it wasn't turned off and the camera's still pointing at her. Okay? Right? That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I overdo the found footage bit. Sometimes I need to say, okay, that scene should not be found footage. That's what I'm saying, okay?
Well, too late.
Well, no, I'm saying that's
because the camera has to be on in order to understand, so we can hear what the plot is going on about. If we cut that bit out, we are left with a very big gap of why the policeman is there.
A camera shot.
Well, shift off, okay? This is a found footage movie. Leave it alone, Mike. Okay? Drop it.
Okay, anyway. Here we go. I'm going to give it a 9. And, of course, the shaky camera. Anyway, well, sorry. It doesn't have to be all... Well...
It's a found footage thing. That's the style. Move on.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand, guys.
I do know what found footage is.
Yes, and leave it alone.
Sure. Okay. Now, availability. Here we go. Right. Now, this is available in lots of good places, like streaming services and whatever. Okay. It's not available to buy through Amazon, but you can rent it. eBay has a couple of second-hand copies available only. However, availability, Amazon Prime Video, Netflix subscription, iTunes, Vudu, Google Play Movies and TV, and YouTube. So it's out there if you want to have a look at it. Ta-da! I can't think of anything else.
Yes.
Yeah. No, not much to say, but I would really say this is as good as Charmed.
Yeah, I would say good as Charmed or The Craft.
The Craft, Craft, yeah.
Because it does fall according to, as I said before in the beginning, this movie was a cross between The Craft and The Chronicles.
The
Chronicles was another movie about a bunch of kids
sci-fi, wasn't it?
who discover these weird things they discover in the woods. That's actually a spaceship
some
and
aliens,
some kind of weird alien thing that kind of gets some powers and stuff.
And it starts to corrupt them mentally. Once one of the kids gets
one kid gets corrupted.
Yeah,
the other two try to stop him.
Yeah, I saw it years ago. I can't remember the full story, but I remember that they were flying.
Yeah, I know for a fact at the end, one of the boys is still around, and he ended up going away to Tibet to try to figure out He leaves the camera there, and he tells the audience that he will go and try to find out how to find out what this stuff happened to them, and try to fix himself if he can.
Exactly.
And use his powers for a good purpose. That's it.
Yes. Anyway, there you go.
Anyway, even though I would have loved it in this movie that there'll be a few of the witches accidentally getting more killed. Like, instead of just feeling like they just lost a tooth or lost their hearing aid, that I just wish that they could have raised the stakes with their lives. I mean, it makes it sound a little more extreme.
It would have been nice if one of them died or something or other.
Make
it a bit more.
Make it more impactful.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a nice, friendly movie. How's that?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
How's that warm and fluffy?
Because if you don't kill off one set of characters, you feel like you're like the audience, the director is too attached to them.
What about that boyfriend guy that Jules had?
He wasn't her boyfriend. Remember, she was using him.
I know. Yeah, but that was a boy that was interested in the other girl, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't get damaged, did he, at all?
No, he just lost his memory.
That's right, yeah. His memory was wiped of it, so he didn't remember anything that went on, so yeah.
Don't know if it had anything to do with the fact that Jules was using magic powers to manipulate his brain.
Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, I've got nothing else to say about it, apart from it's not about watch. How's that?
Yes, so anyway, that's about it for us guys tonight. So thanks for listening to our latest podcast, everyone. Be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you think of this movie. All right, thanks for listening to our podcast, everyone. This is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying, see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now.